have the 2023 EM Epure Race, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a few new key features of the bike and how they work in practice. For 2023, EM have created a new innovation which was seen on the 22 model in blue and red mode, but this year they have introduced a TKO, or otherwise known as a tick over, in green, blue and red. Basically this means that you have to pull the clutch in, press it into gear like you would with thermal powered bike, and then as soon as you let the clutch out, the tick over with the motor spinning at 900 RPM the bike's going to set off on its own. And then to put it into gear, press the map button. Motor's now spinning at 900 RPM, it's in 125 mode. If I press it again, it's now in 250 mode. And if I press it again, it's now in 300 mode. So the moment I release that clutch, the bike's going to set off. Now the tick over strength increases in each mode, so in the green it's the weakest, so you can hear the motor sort of dying down a little bit there. If in blue it's a little bit stronger, so it'll pull through. And then in red it's even stronger again, so for an expert level rider with a front wheel up against a rock, they can really hold it on that biting point and then rev it up and bang the clutch out. To put it back into neutral, just pull your lanyard off. The advantages of this are when you're riding along at very slow speed, the input of the throttle doesn't just have to be as smooth because you're only adding to that 900 RPM. It also makes the grip a lot better. But the biggest thing is when you're going along a cambered hill or up a stream, it just means that it's a lot more smooth, and just that little bit of momentum massively helps when you're riding. It can be switched off with a little switch just under here. Another new feature for 23 is the command switch here. It was also the same type of switch on 22, but the button's now the other way around, which means the map button's at the top and the FRB button at the bottom. Now, the FRB is a fixed regen brake. It's now a lot more practical to use it being at the bottom of the handlebar. When you push this in, it gives a fixed amount of engine braking and slows you down going down a hill. The added optional extra, which we'll come to later, is a PRBR, which is a progressive regen brake lever, and that's recommended, but the FRB is as standard. It also has a feature called anti-reverse, so if you're pulling the lever or you press the button in when you're going up a hill and you get into difficulty, if you press that in or hold it in, it'll stop the bike from rolling backwards, create a load of resistance in the motor to then mean that you can get yourself out of trouble without just rolling down the hill wildly. So going up a stream like this, just leave the clutch alone, a little bit of throttle, I've got the tick over on. It really helps, particularly on tricky little bits. You get to here, just helps me grip all the way up to the top. Now I'm going to demonstrate the same stream, but without the tick over on. Coming down this hill, I'm on the PRBR, a little bit of front brake. My battery display is literally going up as I do it. The tick over is also slow enough, so I'm coming on this corner without having to pull the clutch in, which is a huge advantage. I'm going to go back into blue mode, so I'm now rev and go. Lucky for me, my throttle control is quite good, but even still it feels a lot more jerky. Don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I've got to really concentrate a lot harder. I've got to try and, not be too aggressive on the throttle. I'm going to demonstrate the new clutch. This technique is something called the splat technique. Now, I'll just show you how sort of high it is. So it's up to there on me. You could just about do another technique called touch front or double blip, but it's on like the brink of it really. So I think we'll try the splat, and this is where the new 23 clutch piston and the new clutch plates will make a difference to get that explosive power down. Just to demonstrate it, I'll do it from a standing start. With the tick over, it even helps you balance as well. You can sort of hold the biting point against the clutch just to give you that gyroscopic effect, and it does make a massive difference. So I'm going to red the bike pretty much to the stop, compress with my legs, pull up, and bang the clutch out all at the same time. That's when I give me the drive to get up there. So I am more of a touch front kind of guy. I do prefer that if I can rather than a splat. As I was approaching it, it felt just about low enough for me to touch the front wheel, which does just help you to get a bit more lift and drives the back wheel into the rock, then drive up onto it. So I'll demonstrate the same sort of technique, but on a little bit of a lower rock. And again, it just shows you with the clutch sort of how much explosion you get out of it. So new for 23, EM, in particular Mark Colomay, who's the development rider for EM, along with Gail Chatagnon, the factory EM rider, have really developed the clutch. The clutch is a hydraulic diaphragm clutch, and this year for 23 they've put a factory clutch piston that often only factory riders have. It's a similar sort of clutch on a few other brands of thermal bikes. For the factory riders, they have this factory clutch slave cylinder piston, which gives it a lot more precision, a lot more power with the finger, and they've now put that on the production bike of the EM, which is something way above what any other manufacturer offers. They've also changed the ratios of the thickness of the friction plates to the steel plates, overall just giving a far more powerful but nicer feeling clutch, and really progressive. You can really feel it through your fingers. If you was to rev the bike right up and then bang it out, it's you know, even more effective. The clutch has 3 available settings. As standard it comes in setting 2, but for an expert level rider they might think about putting it into setting 3 so it's even quicker, particularly when you're jumping up big rock steps and that sort of thing. It does make a difference. Yeah, overall the clutch feels really, really good. So for 2023, brand new is also the Domino throttle. Very, very smooth in its action, very robust, really, really light feel to it. And obviously Domino's a name that's well known within the motorcycle industry. So yeah, I think this is a big upgrade. The previous models all had a Magura throttle, which was great, but the Domino is just that next level again. And I've really enjoyed riding with the Domino throttle. Another new feature for 23 is the rear brake pedal tip. You know, nothing major, there's nothing wrong with the old one, but it does have a little bit more grip, cool with a little grey anodised ending on it. So a new feature for 2023 Epure Race is the Rega rear shock. Rega have worked closely with Mark Colomay and EM to develop the shock that's built for EM with the different length of stroke, the nice soft rebound rubber or bump stop, and as well as that they've also put new precision linkage pins in the bike, which again make it a far nicer feel, a lot more progress, and you know, all these little bits added together has made a massive difference to the 23. Only really that you can appreciate when you ride the bike. When you ride the bike back to back, you can really tell a big difference. So new for 23 also, EM have been working hard with their manufacturer to get increased flexibility but also strength in the plastics, and the compound's completely different. The results are that yeah, we've got a mudguard that you can, as you can see, can bend back both ways, and yeah, it's made a massive difference. Also, same as the 22, but the seat base and under tray is now an 8-bolt fixing rather than 6. Combine that with the new plastic compound has really given a lot more strength and rigidity to that, but added with the flexibility, works really, really well. On the Epure range, since its inception in 2020, the battery display is constantly being developed and improved, and this year the reliability has increased quite considerably. Basically, the battery display comes on when you first turn the bike on. It'll then go off as you're riding it, but then if you want to just check the battery, just press the button there and the percentage will come back up. So you can see here, this one's sat at 94%. New for 23 is also the battery button cover. Just helps protect it from any elements, any dust, muck and any water ingress. I mean, it's a good feature for the British conditions. It's not something we have a problem with, but it's always best to have that extra level of protection. Yeah, so new for 23, aesthetical changes are obviously we've got the nice blue graphic design combined with the sort of metallic-y grey frame colour and the black rear sprocket. You know, this is for most manufacturers it's not one of the major changes, but obviously for EM it's just the tip of the iceberg. So an optional added extra is the PRBR. 99% of people go for it, and for me it's a no-brainer. I absolutely love using it on my bike. So basically it's a regen brake. When you're going down a hill, if you pull it in a little bit, brakes a bit, pull in a lot and it brakes a lot, and it puts power back into the battery. So I use mine 95% of the time, and I'm 20 to 30% better off on battery by the end of the day. And if you pull it right in, it won't quite lock up the wheel, but it slows it right down. So, you know, sometimes when it's very wet and slippery, particularly in the UK, you know, you can easily get out of control with your rear brake pedal by pressing it too hard and locking up. But with this, you just leave the rear brake pedal alone, pull that right in, that combined with your front brake will slow you right down and take you down to the bottom of the hill nice and controlled, and at the same time you can watch your battery display go up. This part of the trials park is called the double blip development area. Reason being is you can start off on a rock step or a sleeper step that's only, you know, this high, and then build your way up with, as your confidence and skill grows on the sleepers, you can then turn to the more intimidating rocks and start off on the lower level and build your way up. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to demonstrate what you can do in the green mode, the 125 mode. It's a mode that quite a few people use, and then I'll show you how the blue and the red mode then comes in as well. I'm going to ride with the tick over on. I just found there's a massive advantage, and I'll also show you that. So I've got, you know, just hardly any throttle on at all, and then up. So with any sort of slippery gradient, you know, banking, or in this case sleeper hill, you always want to get the speed and momentum in the bottom and then shut as you're going up the top. So now we're going to use the clutch a little bit more, so the new piston will come into action. So you can be nice and aggressive at the bottom of a hill, as aggressive as you want really, as long as your body's in the right place. And then as you're going up, you're just shutting off all the power. So we'll do the next one up, still in the green mode, still in 125 setting. It's very nice actually. I don't ride in the 125 setting very often, but it's actually really good. Gives you a lot of time, a lot of confidence, and a lot of grip. We'll try the rocks. We'll do the biggest rock below the very, very top one. So even still up there, no problem. Then again, nice and aggressive at the bottom of here. Shut off towards the top. If you want to come back down, get yourself nice and straight. Down something like this, I might choose to use my brakes. And then lean back, a bit of throttle. And on stuff like that, that's where the tick over matters so much. Just gives you that little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence, just to sort of increase the throttle gently and wheelie off. Now if I do the same section without the tick over, you'll see the difference. So I'll just turn it off now. I'll still do it in the green mode. I'll go straight to the bigger bit. So I've just got to think a lot more what I'm doing. You know, when I land up onto something, it's not giving me that momentum to carry on. It sort of stops, and I've got to gently increase the throttle. I'll try it on the rock. Even just riding around slowly to balance is a lot harder without the tick over on. And you see how I spun a bit then? You know, I tried to get the drive down to get the grip to go up it, and because I was adding the throttle from nothing, I just got a little bit of spin. Now I'm very confident if I turn the throttle, the tick over back on, I won't have any spin at all. See the difference there? I'll turn the tick over off to do this drop off, and again just demonstrate this difference. So by no means impossible, but you know, you have really got to think a lot more, and you know, in some ways got to be more skillful to ride without the tick over on. So yeah, definitely turn it on and you know, get used to it. And if you've been riding petrol bikes all your life, it's going to come very natural to you, and it's going to come from home. So yeah, get it turned on. so I'm in the red mode now. It would do this in blue, but with the 300cc mode, it would just help, you know, if each lift of the rock, each lift of the wheel onto the rock, should I say, it will make a difference and just give me a little bit more time when I'm on top. Okay, so here it goes. So it wasn't perfect, but because I was in the red mode then, I could sort of realign myself and then go again at the end. Whereas if I was in blue, it might have just been lagging a little bit. So I've not just quite made it to the top. Pulled the anti-reverse in and I'm controlling it with my front brake and anti-reverse, and as I'm just trying to get myself off the hill now, and I can use the clutch to sort of release the anti-reverse as I go. And now I'm in a place where I'm pretty comfortable. I can now reactivate the tick over and ride off. So without it, you know, unless you, everything happens a lot quicker. So, you know, yes, if you're a good rider, you've been riding for years, you know, you're not going to get into trouble. But if you're new to trials, then the anti-reverse will make a massive difference. You can pull that in and just slowly ease your way down the hill, get yourself comfortable before setting off. Obviously on a thermal bike, they've got gears, so it effectively would have stalled on there. And effectively this is doing the same thing, but arguably better. So yeah, no, it's a very useful feature and one that hopefully will save a few carnages.